Festival of Football, presented by Billy Harvey and Henry Barrett.
The best West Ham team ever. Um, to be honest with you, I've not put no thought into this. I was just going to wing it.
It's not the best thing to say.
Well, no, because obviously I know West Ham inside out. You know what I mean? Like it's one of them things. I mean, you think about goalkeepers straight away. Like I'm struggling straight away. The only one that really stands out for me, and it was probably even before I went to watch West Ham, is Ludo McCloskey.
Okay.
The only other ones that come remotely close to him is probably Rob Green, or I used to like Jimmy Walker
Okay.
when he was in the Championship. But no, I think I have to go for Ludo because he was West Ham through and through. Maybe I could say Shackleton stuff.
Yeah, that was my pick. My pick was going to be Big Shaka. I just remember him in goal. He was just a Newcastle legend, and then obviously he went to West Ham and he played in the FA Cup final, didn't he, as well? So for me, he came at a time when obviously West Ham were kind of in that period of up and down, like Championship, Premier League. Like
we had him before, didn't we?
Yeah.
When he came back and he got to the FA Cup final, that was the second time he came. But yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, I'll say Ludo McCloskey. You're saying Shaka Islop.
Yeah, another one to consider as well would have been David James.
No.
No?
When he played for West Ham, that was his pure calamity James time.
Well, I think he was England #1 at the time as well, wasn't he?
Mate, no, honestly.
Just another name to throw out there, but yeah, I'll go for Shaka Hislop.
Okay. Right back. I mean, again, like, can you say someone that only played a little bit for West Ham and then went on to do other things? Or should I say somebody that's played really like a long time for West Ham? The first name I thought of when I thought of right back, and that's what I want to go on. Who's the first person I think of when I say these positions? And the first one I thought of when I said right back was Glenn Johnson. But he only played for West Ham for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And can I say Safal? Because he's only been there recently. I mean, it's like, I don't know. Who are you saying for right back?
I'm going to go with someone, again, that was coming in that golden era. Well, it's not a golden era, is it? But kind of that growing up era, I'll call it. I'm going to go for Thomas Repka. I know he played centre-back as well, but he played right-back a fair few times.
He did. He played right-back as well, mate. Yeah.
I just thought like he embodied the spirit of the club, that kind of like aggressive, no nonsense, like puts in a tackle, does a shift, like outspoken, like bit of a hard man type thing. I think he kind of embodies that West Ham spirit. So that's why I went for him.
You could also put Lucas Neal, Christian Daly.
Yeah, Christian Daly was another one I thought about as well.
I love when I used to go West Ham and I'd be a song for Christian Daly. Oh, Christian Daly, I'll let you, my wife, oh, Christian.
Yeah, yeah. I did think about Christian Daly, and he might still be in my team, but
yeah. Right back's a struggle for me, mate. To be honest, no one really like stands out like he was an amazing right back. I remember was his name Shamel or something like that.
Oh yeah, the French guy.
Yeah, he was decent, like proper decent at the time.
What about Lionel Scaloni?
No, mate, he cost us the FA Cup, but that's different throw. Do you know what? I really don't know who to pick for right back. I'm really struggling here.
Oh, you could do a Gareth Southgate and pick 4.
Yeah, I should, shouldn't
I? Yeah.
Do you know what? Because I'm not getting any right backs coming to my mind shooting out at me, it might seem ridiculous, but I'm going to put Safal in there.
Okay.
For me, he's the best in that position I've seen since I've been going to West Ham and you know, watching them for all the years I've been watching them. As I said, maybe pre what I've watched and where I was, like my dad's era, it might have been a better right back. But the only real player that I can remotely think of moving on to my next pick, is Bobby Moore. He has to be in there for me.
Okay.
Centre back, along with Rio Ferdinand. Bobby Moore and Rio Ferdinand, my centre back partnership. We've had some good centre backs over the year, but Bobby Moore is the only person that's English to lift the World Cup.
Yeah.
So for me, if he's played for your club, he's won us the FA Cup a few times, he has to be in there for me. And Rio Ferdinand, probably one of the best England centre-backs we've ever had, started his career at West Ham. So for me, he has to be in there.
Yeah, those are my two centre-backs as well. I think they're the two easiest ones to pick because you've got a World Cup winner, and then you've got Ferdinand as well, who went on to achieve so much. But yeah, just some other notable picks you could have had. Anton Ferdinand could have been one.
I thought about Anton, but put him as right back.
Yeah, you could do that as well. I mean, Anton Ferdinand back in the day was, he was a decent player. I mean, people took the piss out of him because he wasn't as good as Rio, but he wasn't a bad defender.
He wasn't bad, mate. He had the Ferdinand genes. You could have also said, what was the name gone? It just come in my head and gone now. Anyway, say your next one. Oh, that was it. John Terry. He started his career at West Ham.
Yeah. I mean, you could have gone for him as well. I'm trying to think of any other centre backs that you've had that I quite liked. I think Upson was another one in that kind of growing up era, as I'm calling it, that you could have gone for too. But I think the centre backs, they picked themselves, didn't they? I think that was the easiest positions on the field, if I'm honest.
Pretty much. Left back. Now this is two jumped at me straight away. One jumped at me first, and then the other one came into my head when you were talking about Repka and his hard tackles and stuff. So the first one, Julian Dix.
Yeah.
And then the second one was Stuart Pearce.
So
we got Stuart Pearce when he was towards the end of his career. I can't see past Dixie though, to be honest. Once again, he was probably just before my time, and I didn't really see much of him. But from what I have seen of him, mate, when he stepped up for a penalty, the goalkeeper used to run. Like do you know what I mean? He was unbelievable. So yeah, I'm left back Julian Dix for me.
Yeah, I went for the same person as well, just because he embodies that West Ham spirit, like Repka, like aggressive, no nonsense, tough man, like intimidating. He just embodies that kind of like persona of the club, if that makes sense. I mean, that's probably not the club probably don't want to be associated with that, but that's the kind of way that I see West Ham and West Ham fans. If that makes sense. He's the.
Do you know what? You could have Cristiano Ronaldo, right? But I, in all honesty, would believe West Ham would prefer a player that gave 120%, run down, block the ball, put in some tackles more than someone like Ronaldo, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
Because we're not a Man United or a Chelsea or an Arsenal or a Liverpool or a Man United or a City, so they didn't put Tottenham in that conversation. The reason being is because we have to fight from underneath, and that's what we are as a fan base. I think you're right. It does embody the club. What's the formation going forward?
Whichever formation you like. Like you could pick 4-2-3-1, 4-4-3, 4-4-2. It's up to you.
I think I'll go for 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Because I need to get two strikers in there. Then I could drop one of them out. I don't know. But just go 4-4-2. Fuck it.
Sure.
So I don't know where to start first, with my controversial one on left mid or do the centre mids first. I'll do centre mid first. The first centre mid, now you could pick, there's loads you could pick from here. You could put Joe Cole in there, you could put Michael Carrick, you could put Scott Parker, who single-handedly took us forward.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Noble, just for being a legend of the club that he is. Declan Rice has to get a shout.
Yeah.
Suchek could even get a shout because of what he's doing. And then just you took basically you pick yours, but I think about more in my head.
Sure. So I've gone for I'll play I'm going to play 4-3-3, but like 4-2-3-1 basically. So I'm going to pick two central midfield players, and I'm going to go for Lampard because it's Frank Lampard. He's a beast, like probably the Premier League's best ever central midfielder, if not one of them. for the things that he's gone on to do. And beside him, I'm going to put Joe Cole, because technically gifted, probably the best technical player England had seen since Paul Gascoigne at that point. Like, he could do everything. He was an English Ronaldinho. I mean, he could play central midfield. He could play as a 10. But yeah, I'm going to put him central midfield because that's where he played. I know he was kicked out onto the left-hand side, but I don't feel like he suits there. So those are going to be the two for me. And I think it was quite easy picks as well. Yeah, like you said, you could have picked Scott Parker. You could have picked.
For me, mate, it's not. Do you know why it's not? Because it's once again from an outside point of view. Oh yeah, Lampard, Cole, easy picks. But from a West Ham point of view, it's not. Mark Noble is got to be up there with Bobby Moore and Paulo Di Canio, as in like the best players that have ever played for us. Not so much because of the quality, but because of what he done for the club, what he's put in for the club. There was a time when Man United wanted to buy him when he was in his, you could say, his prime, and he didn't go because he wanted to stay at West Ham. And it's a one-man club, and I think that has to be honoured in West Ham's all-time 11. I thought about Lampard, and then I didn't. Do you know what? I'm going to change it up. I'm not going to go 4-4-2. I'm going to play the same as what you are, and I'm going to go with the two central midfielders, Mark Noble, Frank Lampard.
Fair enough.
And in Cam, I'm going to put Joe Cole.
Makes sense. Makes sense to put him as a Cam. My Cam, I'm going to go. I know Di Canio's a striker, but I'm going to put him as Cam because I've gone for a controversial pick up front, and I want Di Canio in the team as well, because again, he's another one that embodied the club. Di Canio, like he drove you forward. He could do things that no one else could, like that bicycle, like scissor kick goal, whatever you want to call it. That was immense. And then he would go and punch a referee. So like he could do the magical and then he could do the ridiculous at the same time.
He never punched a referee, Bill. He pushed him.
Well, the referee looked like he'd been punched, but yeah, he did push him. You are technically right, but yeah, he was just one of those players, like very outspoken. Like, you know, he would intimidate teams as well because they knew he could do the brilliant things. When was it Barthez stopped playing and didn't Di Canio pick up the ball or something as well? He did.
We played the ball through. It was offside. The linesman didn't put his flag up. Barthez stood there with his hand in the air trying to put Di Canio off. Just slotted the ball past him. The other thing that Di Canio did was when we played Everton, 90th minute, the goalkeeper went down injured. Whipped in the cross to Canio. All right, he's not going to header it anyway because he's not a great header of the ball. But instead of headering it or trying to score, he catched the ball and walked over to the goalkeeper and was like, "No, the goalkeeper needs medical support, so that's more important." Which is fair play to him. I mean, I don't think Harry Redknapp at the time appreciated it, but
No.
Hey ho, there you go. What I will say is, I'll move on to my left midfielder and right midfielder. My right midfielder might surprise a few people, but I'm going to put Trevor Sinclair.
Oh, he was a great player. Like, I think he's one of the most underrated English players that have played in the Premier League. I remember he went to.
You mentioned that goal, yeah, the Canyon bicycle kick, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. If it weren't for the ball that Trevor Sinclair played to him that day, he would not have scored that goal.
No.
See, as much as Di Canio was brilliant for scoring that goal, you've got to also praise the pass, praise the assist that Trevor Sinclair put in. And for me, you could have a few players in there from right mid, but for me, yeah, I've got to put Trevor Sinclair in there because he was the sort of player that you could do something on his day, you know, that not a lot of people could do. So, you know, with Lampard, Noble, Sinclair, and Cole, I feel like I've got a good, you know, Noble's the one that will sit and play the quarterback position. Lampard will burst in behind. Joe Cole's doing his bits. Sinclair's on the right, whipping balls in. On the left midfield, now West Ham fans, you can say what you want about this player. You can hate him, but you can't discredit what he did. He nearly single-handedly got West Ham into the Champions League a few years ago. He changed us from a rubbish team to a crazy team. And if we still had until today, we would be in the top 6 every year, I believe, because he single-handedly took players that weren't at a level to the next level. And if you don't know what I'm talking about by now, it's Dimitri Payet. he has to be in his team. He came in. I mean, for Marseille, everyone was like, "Well, is he going to be alright? Is he going to be like another foreign player that doesn't do what he should do and all this nonsense?" But he comes in, hits the ground running, mate. Him and Lanzini were like, freaking hell, mate. They were on fire that season. He made Noble into prime Iniesta, Xavi. Like he single-handedly grabbed the rest of the team and pulled them up. And when you've got a player that can do that, mate, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with Payet. That's who I was going to go for at left midfield, like left winger. Like you said, he did some magical things. He scored some bangers as well, like free kicks. But he was the complete player for you, and it was a shame that he left in the way that he did. And he went to Marseille, and I thought he should have really gone to someone like a City or a United or a Chelsea or
But you know
someone.
why? See that someone outside of the club like yourself wouldn't know about it, but I've heard that the reason he left West Ham was because his missus found out he was playing away. And the only way that she would forgive him and move on was as if they all moved back to Marseille, where they were from.
Makes sense then. If you're going to put it, yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, it ruined his career really because he was on a high with West Ham and then he went back to Marseille and.
Worst thing is, we got offered, I think, like 40, 50 million from a Chinese club for him, and we rejected it. And then in January the next year, we accepted 20 odd million for him, like a discount price. We've got a history of doing that. We've done that with Arnautovic as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you've gone with Payet on the left.
Payet on the left. And then, yeah, I can't really look beyond Trevor Sinclair. Growing up, he's in that growing up period, as I keep calling it. And I remember World Cup 2002, and he went to that, and then he was playing as well. And he got into that so-called golden generation team. And you think, I don't think enough respect is put on what he achieved in his career. I know he didn't win much, but given the players that we had at the time, and to get into that squad, that was probably our best team in 2002. That when players were at their pinnacle.
Yeah, he was the unsung hero for that World Cup team.
He was, yeah, he was 100%. And that's why I think I couldn't look beyond him playing right midfield. I was trying to think of the other options that you guys had, and I couldn't really think of anyone that would go above and beyond him. So,
yeah, to be honest with you, I can't at this moment in time. I can't think of anyone that stands out to me like Trevor Sinclair did. No. Looking at it, moving to striker. This is why I went to two because there's so many options, mate. You've got Dean Ashton.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think Dean Ashton, if he didn't get that injury, he would have been the next big England striker.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, he got that injury that ruled him out. You've got Teddy Sherman.
Yeah.
People might forget that he played for West Ham. Les Ferdinand, Ian Wright. One of the best strikers ever, Tony Cottee.
Yeah.
I mean, an unsung hero that a lot of outside people think about, Colton Cole. He's a West Ham legend for what he did for the club.
Yeah.
You've also got Paolo Warnchop.
Yeah.
Paolo Di Canio.
Yeah.
Mate, there's so many. Frank McAvenny, Jeff Hurst,
Frederick Canute.
Canute is right. Jermaine Defoe.
Jermaine Defoe.
Shit.
But you've missed out the best player, I think, in that list.
What, Mikel Antonio?
No, Marlon Harewood.
Yeah, I mean, he could have gone on the right, to be fair.
Marlon Harewood.
Do you know you could have said was Brian Dean.
Yeah, another underrated player. But I think I'm going to put in my team as a bit of a joke, Enner Valencia.
Oh, come on, man. It's the best ever West Ham players. You can't put Valencia in there.
No, I won't. He won't get in. But yeah, like I said, there's so much choice, isn't there? Even if you look.
I'll tell you what, there was a player that equaled the record before Vardy did crazy bits. Was that Saka? Is it Saka or Sacco? Sacco. He scored 7 goals in 7 games for West Ham.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to leave the same way that Payet did, like just being a bit of a knob, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, he deserves a shout out for doing that record.
Yeah.
But obviously, I can't look past Paolo Di Canio. If I was going to pick two, like I initially was, because I wasn't going to have Joe Cole in my team, and then you mentioned, I was battling between Joe Cole, Noble, and Lampard. I didn't know who to pick out of them three.
I
But
don't know
then
why
when
you
you
pick
said,
Noble. Like, it's madness.
because he is West Ham, mate.
Yeah, but he's a bang average player, isn't he?
All right, so when you think of Tottenham's 11, yeah, you're going to pick a player that you know embodies Tottenham. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you've got to have that one player in your team that embodies Tottenham. I probably won't pick that player because I'm looking at it from the outside point of view.
Yeah, it's
Whereas
true.
do you know what I mean? And if you ask everyone, even Man United fans, they'll probably pick, you know, Dennis Irwin or someone like that. Whereas we'd pick more established names or fancier names, you know.
Like Eric
But
Jemba.
yeah, probably. Maybe he's won more Premier Leagues than Steven Gerrard.
He has. You can't argue with facts. It's a fact. Sit here and
But
do a Rafa Benitez talk about facts. There's one of them.
what about Rafa Benitez going to Everton? That's another topic for another day.
Madness.
I was going to pick Tony Cotti and Paolo Di Canio. They were the two I was going to go with.
Okay.
But because I've only got one, I'm going to have to go with Paolo. Di Canio, to me, he's the best player that West Ham's ever had. He had that fiery outburst moments. He had the fire in him. But on the day, he was, I told you before, world class is thrown around too easily, but he was world class. And if he was playing for a bigger team, he would have been in the bracket of he's the world's best player. Some of the things he did at West Ham, I remember a game against Arsenal, he ripped them to shreds. And you could on the goal alone he scored against Wimbledon, that bicycle kick, you'd be like, yeah, man, he's amazing, he's the best player, whatever. But he did that on multiple occasions. I remember a goal he scored against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. He was coming off of the right-hand side, he just flipped the ball up in the air, smashed it left foot volley in the back of the net. I'm like, what? But like honestly, the only thing is about my team, I've got to be careful. I've got Lampard and Di Canio in, so if it gets a penalty, I've got to be careful that they don't start fighting over the penalty again. But yeah, that'll be quite cool. I let Mark Noble take the penalties anyway, so it's fine.
There we go. I don't know. For me, I'm struggling to pick a striker. I'm stuck between two, so I'm stuck between Jermaine Defoe, simply because I don't think the Premier League's seen a better finisher. Like maybe Henry in his prime, but in terms of
why I
English
didn't pick
striker,
Defoe? I didn't pick Defoe simply because he weren't at West Ham long enough.
it's fair enough.
So if I'm basing it off of that, you could say, oh, you put Safau in, he's only been there for a little while. But for me, right back was more of an area where, I can't, there's not that many standouts. Where striker, there's a goddamn million strikers that I could pick from. Even what's his name? Todorov.
Oh, Svetoslav Todorov. Yeah, Bulgarian legend.
Or Jeremy Adiadier.
Oh my god, jeez, he was crap.
These are all the things we had in the Championship, mate. Jesus.
Yeah, you had some real bad ones. I'm not picking Teddy Sheringham because I don't like him. He's a knob.
Well, that's a bit offensive.
It's true. I remember. I'll tell you why actually. Because when I was playing football as a kid, we actually played against his son's team, and in those days, you didn't have like social media, you didn't have camera phones and that sort of stuff. So basically, you wanted an autograph. That was the thing, right? And we waited till after the game, and obviously I'm a Spurs fan, and he was playing for Tottenham at the time. It was just before he was going to Man United. Actually, it hadn't been announced yet, so we didn't know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like went up to him like, big Spurs fan, like, can I get an autograph? And he was like, no, I'm here to watch my son's game. Like, just leave me alone. I don't want the hassle. And I get that. Like, as an adult now, you understand it. But as a kid, like, to say that to a kid, it's a bit like you then get the perception of him that's something else, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to take it to your grave, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. And that's why I don't like him. And then, like, that's why I still don't like him now. And like when I see him on TV and stuff, like he's not on there often, but I don't know. I don't like him, so I'm not putting him in my team.
I saw him. Who's Under the Mask, wherever it is, Masked Singer.
Yeah.
To be fair, he was right on that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just personally,
team. Once again, he was at West Ham at the end of his career. If he did what he did at Tottenham and Man United at West Ham, then yeah, he had to be in there. But he can't be in there because he was at the end of his career when he went to West Ham. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I won't put him in because I don't like him personally anyway. But I think I was stuck between Defoe and Canute for me. And I think I'm going to go with Canute simply because I think he doesn't get enough respect as a striker. Like he went on to obviously he played for Tottenham as well, so there's that. But he went on to Seville and they won 3 UEFA Cups with him in the team. He was a serious player.
Mate, if you're going to compare the two, for me, it's got to be Defoe. And the reason is because no matter where Defoe went, he was banging in goals. He's still doing it now at Rangers when he plays. He don't play often, but when he plays, he scores. So, but it's your choice, obviously. But
yeah, I'm going to go Canute.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let us know, guys, who's got the better West Ham team. Obviously, I think it's me. If you think I was wrong for putting Noble in, let me know. And if you think Billy was wrong for putting in Canute, let him know.
Yeah.
But yeah, personally, I think they're pretty decent teams, to be fair. And I mean, you just look at it. I thought, it was going to be a lot harder to put players in, and players that I've not even put in, like Carrick, Parker, Rice is not even in the team. It's just craziness, man. Just the players that West Ham had over the years. Like, if we could have them all at one point, it'd be amazing. Like, honestly, that's why they were named the Academy of Football, because players that I've not even mentioned that came through the academy. John Terry was at West Ham. David Beckham was at West Ham. I think I heard rumours that Ashley Cole was as well, but I'm not 100% sure. And then obviously you had the team players that we picked: Joe Cole, Lampard, Carrick. That 3 there, right there: Carrick, Joe Cole, Lampard. Fuck me, mate.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's all around the same time as well, similar-ish time, like a couple of years apart or something. So,
yeah.
I mean, you can't deny they produced some top talent over the years, and that's the only thing you haven't had recently. I know you've got Rice, but there hasn't really been anyone else.
So since they sacked Tony Carr, they've not really. They sacked him because he weren't producing any more talent. Apparently, that was the rumours. But he was there for so many years, and he brought through the likes of Joe Cole and Carrick and all that. And then you go and just sack the guy the way they did and everything. It was wrong. That was one of the first things that twats of a ball did. That why West Ham fans don't like him. They didn't even. I don't think they even give him any kind of package to go away with. Even they just let him go. It was just disgusting. But the thing is there's always going to be style points. You could say we've got Declan Rice. Yeah, he came from Chelsea, then we brought him through. I mean, there's a few on the cusp at the minute, but they don't give him the chance. I mean, I know there was a young lad, I think he's on loan at the minute, or he was before the end of the season. His name's something Xavier Silver, I think, or something like that. He plays up front. And he seems really exciting prospect, but they never give him a chance. He's always on the bench, if anything. And it's like, you've got to give these players a chance, because you never know. And a club like West Ham, you're never going to have millions to spend. You've got to bring, I think, at least once a year or once every 2 years, you've got to bring a youngster through and establish them in the first team. Because otherwise, you're just relying on players like freaking Zaza or, Sebastian Haller, who don't work out. You spend these big money on them for what? For nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas you can bring a youngster through. Yeah, he's going to struggle, but give him time. We're not a Man United. We're not a Man City. We don't need to win every single game. Yes, it'd be lovely to win every single game, but that's never going to happen for us. So we need to bring these youngsters through. And this year, I'm hoping we need to buy. We've not bought yet, and I'm really worried that we're not buying anyone. It's really starting to worry me. But we need to bring some youngsters through at times at this season, because we've got so many games to play with Europa League and everything. We need to do it. Otherwise, you're basically going to be asking your players to basically get injured, because we've not got a big squad.
Yeah.
So it's one of them, mate.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? But yeah, I think they even if you look at the bench that you could have had as well, you can put players like Nigel Reo-Coker, Carrick, Christian Daly. List goes on.
Do you know what player we didn't actually mention that deserves to be on this list. Bobby Zamora.
Oh yeah. Or you could have had Tevez, Mascherano.
Gee, I didn't even think of Tevez. What's wrong with me? I've got to change my own team. Got to change my own team.
You've got to change the team. Yeah, I've got to change Canute for Tevez.
You know what? Tevez again was that player that brought everyone from where they were up.
Yep.
Do you know what? I think I'm going to take out Trevor Sinclair. I'm going to move Joe Cole on the right. I'm going to drop Paulo Di Canio. No, actually, I'm going to play Di Canio and Tevez up top together, and they're going to be lingering around. Thank you for mentioning Tevez. I completely forgot about him. I don't know where that went out the end, but yeah, he's definitely in there.
How can you forget about Tevez?
Mate, do you know why? Because I'm doing it off the cuff. If I sat down, and I probably would have gone from players back in the day as well.
Yeah.
But like Jeff Hurst and things like that. But for me, it had to be more players that I've seen and witnessed firsthand as well. Like eventually we'll get around to doing like an all-time Premier League 11 or something like that. And it would have to be players that we've witnessed and seen and whatever else and go from there. But I think that'll be interesting. Maybe we can do that next or something like that.
Festival Football Podcast, presented by Henry Berrett and Billy Harvey. We'll see you on the next one.